I've been covering the HBO Harry Potter TV series on this channel since it was announced over 3 years ago, and in doing so, I've compiled a bunch of things that we know are happening, and that me personally, I'm excited for. Welcome to Movie Flame, I'm Morgan Ross, and today, I'm going to go over the 10 things that excite me most about the upcoming series from what we've seen so far. These could be things that are new, things that I'm excited to see on screen for the first time because it was left out of the movies, or just something small that I think has potential. And make sure you stay until the end of the video because you might be surprised by some of my top picks. If you enjoy this video, please consider liking and sharing. It will greatly help to grow and sustain the channel. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, and you can also follow me on all of my other social media pages, all of which are linked down below, and all of which house similar content that I make here on this channel. Now, let's get into it. Number 10. Getting the real Chapter 1. Chapter 1 of the series doesn't start from the point of view of a wizard or anyone from the magical world for that matter, but Vernon Dursley. We're with him as he leaves the house and sees McGonagall in her cat form. We see him go about his day at work, and we see him slowly start to realize that the weird things going on are because of the magical world. This is obviously something we never saw in the films because it started out from the point of view of Dumbledore the following night. But for the show, we're actually getting Vernon Dursley's perspective. We know that wizards will get in his way during his drive to work. We know that he'll run into Daedalus Diggle, which is another moment from the novel, and we'll even see Diggle shake Vernon's hand, much to Vernon's horror. And I'm also just excited to see Daniel Rigby take on the role. When I was doing research for my cast videos, I dove into each actor and actress's career, and his really stood out to me, so I'm excited to see what he does with the character. Number 9. More of the other houses. First off, in the trailer, we saw Hannah Abbott and Ernie Macmillan, two Hufflepuff students during the snowball fight, which I assume took place on Christmas like it did in the book. Neither of them were there for that scene in the novel though, and actually they were either not in the first book at all or were very briefly mentioned during the sorting. So seeing more of them is another thing that intrigues me, and Lord knows Hufflepuff needs some more time in the spotlight. And we're also seeing more of Slytherin. The trailer showed more of Pansy Parkinson, and it seems like they're extending her part in the story as well, because the only scene where she was mentioned in the book was during their flying lesson, which is not what this is, so she's getting more screen time as well. She's a character that has always intrigued me, as she was kind of strung along by Draco being his sort of girlfriend. I'm excited to see what the writers do with her as well. Number 8. Nicolas Flamel. With behind the scenes footage, we know that we're getting a scene that was only briefly mentioned in the source material. In the book, Dumbledore tells Harry that he talked to Nicolas Flamel and his wife Perenelle Flamel about destroying the Philosopher's Stone after Voldemort tried to use it to come back. They filmed in a beautiful location on the beach for this scene, and it will be really interesting to see how this conversation goes, as the Flamels basically accept that they're going to die after some 600 years of living, which I'm sure will house a lot of emotion. This also intrigues me because it shows that we're not just going to be from the perspective of Harry like in the books and the movies, but we're going to explore other characters and plot lines, which I think will make the show unique and will make it stand out. If you've read the books or seen the movies 100 times, you're actually getting something new with this series, but in a way that is still faithful. Number 7. Halloween Night. We got a lot of behind the scenes footage of the night Voldemort killed Lily and James, and it seems like this whole sequence will have a lot of detail. The different signs, the neighborhood, and the children dressed in Halloween costumes is so book accurate because the killing did take place on Halloween in 1981. And with all of this attention to detail and the fact that in the Finding Harry documentary I found some concept photos which include what I believe to be the Potter's home in Godrics Hollow, it tells me that we will probably see Voldemort walking through the streets of the town, and it means we'll probably get even more scenes with Voldemort killing Lily and James, and we might even see what happens when he tries to kill Harry. This could be a really dark and chilling moment in the show, and I am absolutely here for it. We saw small glimpses of this in the first movie, but I think they're probably extending this and basing it on the chapter in the Deathly Hallows that showed us every second of the killings from Voldemort's point of view, which is something that the first film obviously didn't have back when it was made. And on top of that, there's also some concept art of wizards shooting fireworks in the sky, which is almost certainly the wizards celebrating the downfall of Voldemort, which is another example of something mentioned in the novel and that we were told about, but that wasn't shown. Until now, that is. Number 6, the Ravenclaw logo. One of the big things that was revealed in the content we've gotten so far was Ravenclaw's logo, which this time around is in the form of an eagle, not a raven like it was in the movies. Ravenclaw House has always had an eagle mascot, because in the books, Ravenclaw values intelligence, wisdom, and wit, and an eagle fits that perfectly, because as J.K. Rowling stated, the mascot was chosen because eagles are often associated with intellect and fly higher than most other birds. Meanwhile, the raven normally represents death, trickery, and just doesn't fit at all, not just with Ravenclaw House, but with any house, to be perfectly honest. I guess you could argue Slytherin though, because many of them turned out to be Death Eaters. But anyway, I'm excited that they're finally getting the Ravenclaw logo right, and hopefully we'll get merch with the correct logo this time around. And speaking of that, I am very curious how it will work at official merch shops like in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, as well as the stores across America and Europe. Will they have merch for both the movie and the TV show? Will they phase out the movie merch? Or will they just stick to what they have with the merch from the movies? And this also extends to Chocolate Frogs, Birdie Bot's Every Flavor Beans, and a lot more, because we're getting all new redesigns, which we've gotten glimpses of for the new show, and it is very different than what they have right now. I guess we'll find out later on. And I have to say, I'm very glad it is not my job to make those decisions. Number 5, Malfoy Manor. Another thing that they're adding to the series is a scene with Draco and also Lucius at Malfoy Manor. We don't meet Lucius until book 2, nor do we see the manor until book 7. So seeing both this early has me really interested in what they're going to do with this scene. There are a lot of possibilities, like meeting Dobby for instance, which could be really cool, or even meeting Narcissa early on, because we didn't see her until book 4. We of course meet Malfoy for the first time during Harry's trip to Diagon Alley, but we could get an alternate introduction to Draco here, or perhaps this could take place after Diagon Alley, and perhaps we could see Draco having a new racing broom, because in the book he says to Harry that he'd bully his father into buying him one. This once again shows how much we're going to see outside of Harry's perspective, which again I think is going to broaden the world and highlight many other beloved characters. My only hope is that they handle these well and ensure they don't alter the actual story they're adapting, but will complement it. If they do that, I think these scenes will be a great addition. Number 4, more classes. In the trailer, we saw Professor Binns at the front of the class where he's teaching history of magic, which tells me we're going to see a much more diverse curriculum. Professor Binns, of course, was not in the movies at all, so the prospect of seeing him on screen just in general is exciting in its own right. Also, this classroom looks absolutely amazing. The candlelight, the lecture hall seating, it all looks so aesthetically pleasing and so inviting. The trailer also revealed a herbology lesson, which was something we didn't see until movie 2. And I have to say, this herbology set looks incredible as well. Way better than the movie set. Not to call out the movies, but it's true. The set design in the show, from what we've seen so far, is nothing short of absolutely incredible. They all have so much more detail than the films did, and honestly, I think it makes them superior to the movie sets. But getting back to my original point, seeing more of the curriculum is one of the things I'm looking forward to most in the show, because after all, this is a series about a school. I actually just uploaded a reel on Instagram about the classes in the movies, and I was surprised at the number of actual lessons throughout those 8 films. I'll link that below alongside the link to my actual Instagram page if you want to check it out. Number 3, Ron and Hermione before school. Along with the trailer, we got 13 more photos, and one of them showed Ron at the Burrow. It's pretty much been confirmed at this point that we're going to see both Ron and Hermione getting their Hogwarts letters, and the prospect of seeing the Burrow this early is so exciting, not only because it's one of the best locations in the series, but also because it means we'll probably see more of the other Weasleys. We could get more scenes with Ginny, Molly, Fred, George, Percy, and maybe even Arthur Weasley as well, which would be really cool because we didn't actually meet him until book 2. And if we get to see Hermione in the Muggle world with her Muggle parents, I think that would be so great, because Mr. and Mrs. Granger are other characters we don't know much about, and this would be a great time to get to know them better. Also, just seeing Hermione learn that she's magical and finding out about the magical world might be one of the most intriguing plot lines I can imagine for this series. Plus, it would be extra cool if they had McGonagall be the one to arrive at their home, giving us more scenes with Janet McTeer as Professor McGonagall. Number 2, more Quidditch. Quidditch is one of the best parts of the books, so getting to see not one, but 2 matches in one season is going to be really cool, because we'll not only get to see the match against Slytherin, but also the one against Hufflepuff, which was heavily shown in the trailer. The movie of course showed the Slytherin match, but honestly, Quidditch in the movies was kinda bad, and not at all how it should have been played. The number of rules they broke was disappointing. We see the Slytherins take Wood out, and nobody catches him as he falls. Then they just keep playing with no penalty and leave the goal hoops open. And we see them take Angelina Johnson down, and again, there's no penalty, nobody catches her, and the match just goes on. And it's not just this movie. Movies 3 and 6 have ridiculous things happen as well, like running into goal hoops, getting struck by lightning, being shot like a rocket. Quidditch in the movies just isn't Quidditch, so I'm excited that we'll finally get a proper take on the game with this show. It also looks like we'll get to see the Gryffindor team in the locker rooms, and we'll possibly get one of Wood's famous and very long game day speeches. The brooms are the one thing I'm hesitant about. I'm curious to see them in action to see what they actually look like while in use, because when they're down on the ground, they're something alright. They don't look as bad in the Finding Harry documentary, which showed them in behind the scenes shots. Plus we got a shot of Neville holding a broom, which looks less wide, but I guess we'll see. I still have an open mind. And finally, number 1, the Dursleys' abuse. One of my favorite parts of the trailer was the Dursley scenes. This is another example of the show taking small mentions in the novels and expanding them into full sequences. This included Harry running from Dudley and his gang, as well as Petunia cutting Harry's hair. And in both instances, Harry used magic. When running from Dudley, he used magic to get on the roof of the school to escape him. And with Petunia, he used magic to grow his hair back overnight. But even more, I'm intrigued to see more of the Dursleys' abuse, which seems to be elevated. And I think this is a very good thing. I just recently did a deep dive into the Dursley family, and the video actually got demonetized because of how dark some of the things I talked about were. And it was just things that were literally in the book. In that video, instead of playing their abuse up for laughs like the novels did, I looked at it in a more serious way. It sucks that it got demonetized, but that clearly shows how dark Harry's time with them was. And it seems as though we'll get a more realistic outlook on how that would actually affect a child in that situation. So actually seeing the repercussions of their abuse in a very real way is the thing I'm looking forward to most, because I think it will be something very raw and very real. But those are the 10 things that I'm most excited to see in this new show. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my picks, and let me know if there's anything else that you're excited for that I didn't mention. I have a lot of other videos about this series on my channel, like this one where I do an in-depth breakdown of the Finding Harry documentary, which I mentioned a few times in this video. And over here is the video you'll like most on my channel according to your algorithm, so clearly you'll enjoy it. That's all I have for you guys today though. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.